Good morning, my dear students. Today we are going to have a look, a glance in learning the life history of Kapil Dev. The topic name is My Beginnings. My Beginnings in the sense, Kapil Dev explains before becoming a cricketer, how did he enjoy his beginnings? In the sense, his childhood, then how he started his life. That's what we are going to learn today. Even in our life also, today we stand as a grown-up persons, but in the beginning we might have not uh, gathered ideas how we should have our beginning, how we should spend. Maybe we may not thought of having goals, setting goals for our beginning, but later as we grow, we fix some goals, aims in order to reach. So in the beginning, we should have some goals. Then only we can achieve the destination, the end point. So my beginnings, we are going to see, learn how did Kapil Dev enjoy his beginning of life. In the first paragraph, he says, looking back at my life, I have never come to the conclusion that our beginnings never know our ends. Yes, of course, as he says, in the beginning we do not know how the end is going to be. Just we start, just we go like that. For me, it all started in Chandigarh. He is from Chandigarh, a small town in the foothills of the Himalayas. He was born on a cold winter morning. My mother, who is a simple woman, she is very simple and could not read the time, but she knew it was early in the morning. On 6th January 1959 was thankfully recorded because a cousin of mine was born on the same day, around the same time and with the same name. So he grew up among 6 brothers and sisters, all older than me except one sister who was a year young. He grew up in Chandigarh, the foothill of Himalayas, and his mother was a simple woman who could not read the times, but remembered her birthday since his cousin was born on the same day, 6th January 1959. And the 6 brothers and sisters, and all of them are older than Kapil Dev, except one sister who is junior to him. And in the next paragraph we see, my mother always regales me with the tales of my naughty behavior. Regales meaning entertaining someone by telling something. So his mother used to entertain him by telling naughty behavior of Kapil Dev, by telling all that he has done, small mischief things. And she claims she never managed to control me. He was tough to control. And Kapil Dev also, from the beginning, he found it tough to sit quiet. He was very curious, and it was his ambition to travel around the world and drive Mercedes Benz. He wanted to travel around the world and have a drive in Mercedes Benz. And God has been very kind to him. Both his wishes were fulfilled. But at the time, 25 years ago, these dreams seemed like castles in the air. Before becoming a cricketer 25 years ago, all his plans were castles. Castles meaning plans or hopes that you have are unlikely ever to become real. Simply just wavering in the air. He never thought, but all those things were fulfilled. And he spent his childhood like other children, trying to bunk schools and save up enough money to go to a new movie and have a plate of chicken with his friends. If we were broke or bored, we would amuse ourselves by breaking the fruit of our neighbor's tree. See, in his childhood, he did all the things that as a normal child. He also bunked schools, escaped for the movie, and had a chicken. And when they are bored, their friends go to the neighboring house, plants climb and pluck the tree fruits. See, all those things he did. And he remembers one particular lady from the neighboring house had a beautiful garden in which she took much pride, and in it there were papayas, pomegranate trees. Now he says I sympathize with her, but in those days most of his time was spent in planning how to climb the tree, how to steal pomegranate and papaya. This was his plans with his friends. In fact, one day they climbed over the wall and were perched on the tree when the lady walked out with some guests. So perched meaning hiding there, slowly hiding. So one day they wanted to climb, suddenly they climbed, but suddenly that lady also came with the guests in the garden, to the garden to have some tea. So other friends were that side, he was caught up there in the tree, he was trying to hide himself. And she was entertaining them in the garden for a tea right under the papaya tree. Exactly right under the papaya tree, they were having a tea party. There were two of us on the tree, and the two others on the road on the other side of the wall. See, two of them were on the tree, and the other two of them were outside the wall standing. The two fortunate ones, the lucky ones, those who were standing outside, they ran, they escaped away by seeing the tea party. About the guests and the lady of the owner of the garden came there for the tea party, and they had to sit nearly 2 hours uh, till the tea party was over. Kapil Dev and another friend of him were caught up there till the tea party was over. And that was the day I discovered the rash that papaya sap can cause. See, that day only I remembered that papaya leaf, it created a rash. You will have a sense of itching, no? It created. That time only I realized that it can cause terrible itching. And one fine day, the lady had a visit to Delhi for a couple of days. That time she had 92 pomegranates on the tree in her garden. And also, before going to Delhi, she counted each one of them and went. So before her arrival, Kapil Dev and his friends collected all the 92 pomegranates, ate it as much as they could, and the rest they distributed to the people, neighboring people. So when that lady came and she saw all that was eaten by those rascals, then that lady complained to Kapil's mother, and Kapil remembers the wall whooping. In the sense, wall whooping means beating. So he had a terrible beating from my mother when she was told about the stealing of pomegranates from her garden. And now that lady, what she does is, with before she was having pride that she has a beautiful garden, having pomegranates, papaya and all. Now she's very pride that she says, what she says to others is, these rascals, these fellows ate all the 92 pomegranates and left the seeds outside. With that pride, she is telling all the fellows outside. Also, and also, the other really naughty things I remember doing is riding the police horses that were left in the huge open green areas to graze. So what he remembers now he is trying to tell is riding a police horses that were left behind them. There was a huge field where they had training for the police horses. So when all of them leave, Kapil Dev and his friends go there regularly and trying to ride them. There were huge police horses, not used to clumsy children scrambling onto them, but despite innumerable falls and many a fright. After all the struggle, he learned to ride and control a horse. In fact, he says even today he is comfortable on a horse without a saddle. Saddle in the sense the thing that which is kept on the horse back to sit. That's the meaning. So even now he is able to ride a horse even without a saddle. And also he also learned to master a horse. He has some particular friend, a close one. From him he learned to control a horse. And also he became more courageous and ventured out of the fenced area with the horses. See, he was very courageous and ventured to take the horses out of the fenced area. They have a ride. And also once he wanted to take a horse slowly by foot into his house to have the horse behind his he says a particular square feet which was about 700 square feet in size. He wanted to have a horse there, but also he was caught before the outside arrival. He was caught, and the horse of course was duly returned. Duly means with the proper arrangements, with the proper procedures, the horse was returned. And also he had received chiding from his father. Chiding means full of rebuke, critical. He was rebuked by the father, and it had discouraged his venture into the grazing fields in order to ride a horse. So that time he realized that all these things will not help, and the rest of the time he spent playing games and participating in athletics where he could use up my energy. So he says, I went to a small local school that had a few cricketing facilities. The games they offered at that time were basketball, football, table tennis, and hockey. Probably because all they required was a ball, a couple of sticks, and net. So he went to a school, he wanted to participate, he spent his time in games and athletics, and where he could use up his energy. He went to a small local school where there were little cricket facilities, but they had a football, basketball, table tennis, and a hockey. And he was fairly good at all games, exceptionally good at athletics. He knew all the games, but he was good at athletics. But he dreamed of becoming a footballer. He wanted to be a football player. He worked hard at that game and was selected to play for my school. So he became expert, good football player, and he was selected for the school team. Fortunately, all his friends were interested in and played cricket. See, all his friends, they were good at cricket, and they also convinced Kapil to change his game from football to cricket. That is the decision. I will always be grateful to them. So here he says, they only changed my life from being a footballer to be a cricketer. And simply they introduced Kapil to game for which I was made. So slowly, almost gradually, without thinking of anything, he slowly switched from one game to the other, and he began to spend most of his time on the cricket field. And he also played a number of inter-school tournaments and came to be noticed as a promising lad. Lad means a young boy, promising guy of becoming a good cricket player. And also he was noticed in a local press, but it was just only a fun start, he says. and he never imagined where cricket could lead him, and he certainly had no plans that time to become a professional cricket player. So this is what we learned today from the lesson called the beginning. Once again, just let me explain what I was trying to explain. Here he said he spent his time in Chandigarh, foothills of Himalayas, all about and all those things, naughty things he did with the friends, going to the movies, bunking school, and climbing the trees, neighboring house trees, and stealing pomegranates, papayas, and going to the police horse riding ground in order to ride a horse, and trying to bring a horse home. And once he was caught, he realized that those are the not things which will help, and he turned to focus on the games and athletics, and he was very much interested in becoming a football player. But with the help of his friends who told them that you have to switch from football to cricket, then he slowly, gradually turned from being a football player to cricket player, and now today he stands as a best cricket player in Indian team. And he never thought of becoming a cricket player, but he had no plans at all. But now he stands as a good professional cricket player. This is what we learn. So today in our life also, we may have many old past bad things or experiences which we didn't like, but it all happened. Like Kapil Dev, we also should switch from all those things to which is very helpful, useful, which will help our future, in which we will come up like beautiful butterflies, shining flowers. So let us change ourselves like Kapil Dev. Thank you. If you have any doubts, just ask me.